Ooh, in the back. Oh my God!
Oh!
The man was sleeping. I don't want to see Boba Fett fight badass naked.
Oh, I'm not. Oh, you're getting killed by Chrysanthemum naked?
Naked.
Oh my God.
Naked and Afraid coming this Discovery Channel.
I didn't think we were getting this soon.
Oh my God.
Boom. You better put on the suit. Put it on. Hurry up.
He's gonna shoot him with the firefighters.
Oh, knuckle duster.
Oh, baby.
Guys, Boba Fett just got knuckle dusted. I feel like I just got knuckle dusted too. Welcome back to the Jersey Comedy Crew. Chris and Rob here, and of course, we're about to break down Boba Fett Episode 3. And after that, Rob, what did you think overall about Episode 3?
Before even getting into that beautiful fight of Black Chrysanthemum assaulting my man when he's taking a bubble bath, the episode as a whole, I loved it. And I think I'm going to go on a limb here. I think this might be one of the best episodes for Star Wars. I think that this show is what Star Wars needs, and they need to take focus. The reason I'm saying this, right? We kind of talked about this in the episode last week, right? With the Tusken Raiders got more of a highlight. We're learning more about these alien creatures, races. They're actually making us care. In this, we're seeing like the world and the interactions on this planet, on the city. Like Boba Fett going to these inner city street youths, like my cousin Vinny. No, but like these cyber kids, instead of going in there slapping around, which I thought he was gonna do, he goes in there, he talks to them, he's like, you know what, you guys are gonna work for me, and you cut your prices, and just like these small little things are like actually showing care for this. Because I feel like if this show was made 10 years ago, Boba Fett would have just went there, beat up the kids, and went out to do his own thing. But it's showing like the world's evolving, and also getting the Rancor as a pet, and then learning that like people used to ride the Rancors. Rancors are like these emotional beings. They're more than just this one-dimensional fighting, killing machine. And the show obviously is going to take the Rancor and highlight it some more, learn about the Rancors and the emotions it feels and how they used to be back in the old days when they used to roam the world free, I guess, and people used to ride them. Like, this show's making me care about alien species and their inner workings of the cities and less about cool fight scenes. And that's what I think Star Wars was trying to do for years and just failed at, in my opinion. And now they're succeeding.
Interesting. Yeah, I think for me, this episode actually was a little bit of the opposite. I felt that it was very messy, and certain things didn't fit, in my opinion. So, first off, the biker gang, right? We were talking about the biker gang a little bit. They, were these kids, they, stole some water, and they have these cybernetic limbs that they add on to them to make them more powerful. There's a character with the female leader, might be a character from the extended universe, but I'm not sure. We haven't heard her name yet, so still not sure about that. But their look to me did not fit Tatooine. Their entire kind of look and feel felt out of place. Now, I don't know if this is COVID related. I don't know if this is reshoots related. But there were some things in this episode that didn't fully make sense to me. And let me know if these are a little ticky-tack, but I feel like it's kind of overall.
Let me see.
So this biker gang, right? They're on Tatooine. They've kind of been, it seems like they're from Tatooine in some aspects, or from Mos Espa. They have these like brightly colored Italian Vespas as their bikes, and it's like a biker gang. I'm like, okay, this isn't as badass as I thought it'd be.
I liked it.
To me, they felt more out of place. They should be like on a planet like Coruscant. If they were on there, that would feel more at home. To me, it was almost too like bright and pretty and soft for the hardened, sand-covered Tatooine, the hardcore Tatooine experience. And to me, it that piece of it took me a little bit out of the episode. It kind of took me out of like trying to figure out why they didn't fit or meld correctly to me with Boba Fett. And
I understand the shiny aspect, especially like you're in a sand area. The bikes are look brand new and shiny. They're mechanical parts, especially for the female, like I guess head biker chick. Her like red arm is very bright and red and shiny. I get that, but that's not enough for me to, put a sour taste in my mouth.
I mean, yeah, no, that's fine. I just, for me, as I'm watching the episode, I'm like, something doesn't feel right. I don't know if this was pieced in later or it was redone for some reason, but that and the chase at the end, even with the biker gang, as we're talking about just
that was a little long.
It not even just long. I don't think it was long. I think it felt long because it was slow. To me, it felt very slow. Like when the mayor's guy is driving away. I'm like, it looks like he's going 10 miles an hour. Like there was no sense of like, obviously it's not like a speeder bike chase where it's like, pedal to the metal. but like it didn't really feel like a car chase. It felt very slow. The bikes felt slow. He felt slow.
Interesting.
And the whole time I'm like, well, Boba's just going to land with this jetpack. Why didn't you just do that from the beginning? Like, this could have been like 2 seconds, but that also didn't feel completely cohesive to me. It was, again, it just felt like it was like either done towards the end and they added it in for a little more like action sequence in the episode, or it just it wasn't fully done maybe because they didn't have enough time to make it look faster. I don't know. It just looked very like slow to me when it happened.
I mean, I wasn't a big fan of that chase scene. I thought, like, for me, the speed and relevance of that didn't really matter because I'm like, they're in a tiny town with a lot of turns and small lanes. Like, I get it's not going to be the speeder bike. I was just like, all right, these kids know the area. Why are they not circling earlier? Like, you're just chasing them for a while. It just felt drawn out to me. That's just my opinion. So, like, I get you weren't thrilled about the bikers and all that, but we just saw Black Chrysanthemum, right? We saw the knuckle dusters. You had to have loved that scene, right? How great was that to see him just beat the crap out of Boba Fett when he was least expecting it?
So I loved it, and I also was a little hesitant on it too.
Why?
And this is because, like, I've read all the Black Chrysanthemum stuff in the comics. I feel like that got Disney-fied, and that upsets me a little bit. And the reason is, again, this seems like it was cut, pasted together. A lot of it doesn't make sense. There's no way Boba, without his armor and basically butt-ass naked, gets up from getting hit with that electronic knuckle duster. Right?
I mean,
number one, water conducts electricity. He's soaked in back to fluid. And he gets hit square in the face. Also, they all have points and there's not a drop of blood. Right? Like, there's not a cut on his head. There's not a drop of blood. And then, like, you see this, all right, like, he's fighting off, he closes him and is, like, crunching him. He would be dead. Like, Black Chrysanthemum rips people's arms off for a living. This is a gladiator. He's not someone who toys with it. It's, no, you're dead, you're dead, you're dead. The whole scene with, like, you know, the Power Rangers bikers trying to take down Goldar, they all would be dead. The Gamorreans would be dead. Like, the only person alive, the only person who should be alive right now is Fennec Shand. So, like, that's the only person who should be living.
I see the Disney-fied aspect that you're talking about, right? Because the knuckle duster's coming in, no marks on his face, he still gets up. Even the crunch on his back, and he still gets up.
Oh,
what I would have loved, right, is after that crunch and he's down and out. That's when the kids rush in, right? Like, and he's knocked down on the floor for a little while, and then like Black Chrysanthemum's taking him out, and then Boba or somehow gets like the chest piece on, right? So that way like it stabilizes his back after that pain.
Like Iron Man breaking a bone in the comics.
Yeah, exactly, right? And then he's able to move forward and push him towards the Rancor pit where the Gamorreans get knocked out and do all that. It felt a little messy. I get that. I'm with you.
But you did really quick. You just made my point, because when you see him again, he's like putting on his robe, right? Like he just got out of the shower.
Yeah.
So like when Chrysanthemum gets thrown into the Rancor pit, he's not even armored up, like ready to go. Like, to me, Boba's like, no, screw this. I'm putting on all the gadgets. Like, I'm hitting you with a flamethrower or a missile, and he's in a robe. So I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I get.
Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is Boba Fett. Like, let the guy be Boba. Like, I understand you're building a world. He's becoming a head of a family. He's becoming, you know, it's very Godfather. It's very Goodfellas. It's very, you know, old school gangster. But you have to also not take away what makes Boba Fett, and that is he is brutally also a killer. He's a bounty hunter at heart, and he doesn't mess around. And I think they're kind of softening that side of it up too much. And I think they proved that, unfortunately, in this Black Chrysanthemum fight, where I'm like, this is the most brutal thing you could have brought into the show, and you just kind of Disney-fied it.
I guess they're so focused on making, I guess, things in this three-dimensional instead of just Boba Fett being this one-track minded, and he's like, oh, I can do all this kind of stuff.
Totally okay with me.
Which I'm fine with, but like the more that, like, in the moment watching the fight, I'm on board. Like, and now obviously it's like, even when I watched Justice League, when I was watching it, I loved every second of it until I sat down and actually had a level head and thought about it.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yes, I understand. But like, seeing this fight, like, I'm just so like, oh, what's Black Chrysanthemum gonna do? And now he's fighting the Guards, and now he's fighting these kids, and then you don't think at the moment, like, what is Boba doing? How are you not putting a piece of armor on?
Or how is he not dead? He should be dead. Like at least if you wanted to make it more realistic to me, when he goes,
he should have killed one of the biker gangs.
He should have killed all of them, to be honest, and probably the Gamorrean that he almost bit his head off or something. Like rip an arm off. Like, he is
not the Gamorrean.
Yeah, I know. I love them too as like the perfect Miss Piggy Kermit children.
Yes.
But like also like bite a head off, rip an arm off. Like this guy is unstoppable. Like obviously, right? They had 7 of them and they couldn't take him down. Right. And he was getting stabbed with the gaffy stick and he was getting, stabbed with knives and they jibbed him in the ribs. And it's just like, you're not taking him down. It's like the mountain in Game of Thrones. Yeah. Right. Like I just thought it was like, oh my God, this is great because it's a surprise. Right. When
yeah, that's true. Out,
you had that shock of like, oh my God, it's happening right now. We don't have to wait till the end of the series. And then no, like I didn't want him to die. I'm glad Black Chrysanthemum's alive.
Yeah, of course.
But also when you let him go and he just kind of like trots off screen, I'm like, that's it.
That my thing was like, why would he not just like work with him? Like I thought that was kind of like the angle they were gonna go for. Like, oh, they're gonna team up and it's gonna be Black Chrysanthemum, Fennec Shand, and Boba Fett, and they're gonna take down the Pike. I think that's what they're
going towards.
Maybe Black Chrysanthemum's gonna go out and then come back middle of the season or towards the end and like work with him, which would be really cool and I'm on board with. I mentioned the Pike, right? Yep. I want to talk before we talk about the end scene, right? I want to talk about the flashback scene, right?
Yes.
The flashback scene where Boba Fett goes to collect, tribute from the Pikes, and the Pikes are like, hey, listen, the Nikto gang claimed land to that territory. We're paying them. We have no problem paying you guys, but we're not paying both. You deal with this, and then we'll pay whoever's going to be there, which was cool to see that the Pike in the past was willing to work with Boba Fett. But now we know what the next flashback's going to be. It's going to be Boba Fett taking down the Nikto gang.
I'm so glad you brought up the flashback scene, Rob, because there are some big story points in there. Number one, we get confirmation on kind of this flashback timeline. We know Boba got out of the Sarlacc pit around the end of Return of the Jedi, but we don't know when.
Yeah.
But when Boba's riding that massive bantha into town to go see the Pikes, we see the stormtrooper helmets being put on those like spears. And that is kind of signifying the end of Return of the Jedi, where Luke destroys the second Death Star, along with technically now Anakin Skywalker. The Emperor dies. Damn sequels. And now we kind of get that confirmation of where that's happening, right? The Empire's fallen. Also, that's kind of the beginning of The Mandalorian. There's that scene in Mandalorian where he's walking through town and you see those same, right in the beginning of season 1, the same stormtrooper helmets. And in the background is one of the best characters of Mandalorian, Pelimoto, with her like little fixer droids walking by.
Oh, that's the lady with the crazy hair that would always fix Mando's ship.
Exactly. So she's there too. So we kind of have this like now little congruent timeline piece of Boba's flashback period. So that kind of coincides with all those things happening. And then, obviously, we have that awesome scene where he's tributing the dead Tusken Raiders and the fact that his home was destroyed. Very similar also to episode 4 where Luke comes back home and, Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru are dead and it's all like charcoaled and he burns the bodies and he's like off to, go take down these Nikto. But I'm glad you brought this up too. The Pikes are there. They're a big part of this. I think they are a lot bigger than everyone thinks, and I think we see that at the end of this episode.
So the ending of the episode kind of told us that the mayor is pretty much gone. He's off the planet. He's working directly with the Pikes. And then we see the Pikes come in force. There's about a dozen of them. And that just signifies that the crime syndicate, the Pike, are here to take over. Which, is scary, just in that sense, if you know the background stuff. But, like, when you watch the episode, you see the Hutts. The Hutts who came there to take over Jabba's place. The Hutts are like, another crime syndicate is coming here and have laid claim to this planet, to this city. We're gone. We're going back to Hutta. Release Black Chrysanthemum. Here's a Rancor as a pet. Cool. Danny Trejo is going to be the trainer now, and it's fantastic. We're leaving. And it's like, oh, they're that scared, right? The Pike are that menacing. And those of you guys who just watched the movies, and now maybe these live action shows aren't really familiar with the Pike. The Pike are very dangerous. We see them in the Bad Batch, the Clone Wars, Rebels. They're everywhere, man. That's definitely something you need to be aware of.
Absolutely. And I also think it's not just the Pikes, right? The Pikes are basically for Star Wars a drug cartel.
Yeah.
Right? They're extremely dangerous. They're everywhere, especially in the Outer Rim where the laws and the trade routes and all the import-export political stuff is much looser than the core world in Star Wars. And this is my thing. The fact that the twins left and we're like, not only are we out of here and we're not going to try and kill you anymore, here's a Rancor, but you should leave too. to me, that's saying it's not just the Pikes, it's whoever the Pikes answer to. I think Crimson Dawn is going to be behind this. Obviously, this is after episode 6.
Okay.
There's no Darth Maul. He was killed in Rebels fighting Old Man Obi-Wan in Tatooine. But I think Lady Qi'ra is still alive. And if anyone out there is reading the Star Wars comics, there's a big 3-arc event going on about Crimson Dawn. And it starts right after Empire Strikes Back. So basically, Qi'ra comes back and takes Han Solo's carbonite body and auctions it off to try and raise money for Crimson Dawn returning.
So I remember we talked last week about the person behind the Hutts, and you said it was Crimson Dawn, and now you're like, oh, I think it's Crimson Dawn for here. So you're on the Crimson Dawn train, which I'm all about, and it makes sense because like the Hutts are like this big thing. The only thing they'd be worried about is another organization of, I guess, their same size, right? Which would be the Crimson Dawn. I'm hoping it's not. I'm hoping it's just the Pikes. The reason for that, like, I feel like the show is doing such a good job of making me care and learn more about this race of creatures, like, each time. So if it's just the Pikes, right? If it's just all the Pikes and they're doing all this, and it's like, oh my God, the Pike are that dangerous. Like, you have more of appreciation for that alien race, for this crime syndicate moving forward into the universe. Guys, we want to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. What you thought of the episode 3 of the Book of Boba Fett, and what do you think of our theories? Down below.
And guys, thanks so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up, like. It really helps the channel out a lot. If you're new, subscribe, turn on notifications. If you don't miss any more of our Book of Boba Fett stuff on the channel. And if you missed any episodes, they are right here for you. And as always, my name is Chris Heller. That is Rob Moran. We are the Jersey Comic Crew, and we will see you next time.